that are on it now.
Skynet was the artificial intelligence that wiped out the human race,
I see.
or attempted to wipe out the human race.
In the future.
In the future.
Actually, if you look at where year it is, it's now already.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
At this time, John Connor is literally.
Oh, nice and warm out there today. Glad we got out of the way today, but the air conditioner here died. Luckily, it was just a capacitor. That fixed today.
Oh, has anyone called into the city, the sidewalk out there that's raising up? What kind of thing? Sidewalk. Out here by the
Right here.
driveway, there's a piece of sidewalk that is,
The bicycle jump
oh, okay. Yeah, that is raised up and it's a hazard.
multiple times.
Back
And-
2029.
I think it's on the
It's
list.
on the list.
All right.
This one, we called the one at RT, and we've called them the one at Tyson.
If we're ready,
Yep.
Okay.
We're good.
I will now call to order the Board of Directors meeting for the Rupa Area Recreation and Park District at 6:30. Ms. Johnson, can you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Ready, begins. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bob, did we lose you?
No. Can you
Okay,
hear me?
we just don't see you on our screen. No, I don't know.
This is my AI version.
What on?
All right, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Division 1, Kim Jarrell Johnson. Here. Division 2, Jose Luis Medina.
Present.
Division 3, this is wrong,
There we go.
Tammy Rivas.
here.
Division
Yes.
4, Edgar Castellan.
Here.
Division 5, Ross Leisham.
Here.
Thank you.
Any presentations or recognitions tonight?
None this evening, Mr. President.
Any public comments?
No, I've not received any.
Great. Does anyone wish to pull anything off the consent calendar?
I move approval of consent calendar.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Moving on to board action items. Item 5.1, discussion and possible approval of the engagement letter with Smith Marion for the annual audit of fiscal year 2024-2020. Mr. DeWitt.
I'm actually gonna turn this over to Ms. Bogus.
Oh, no, I did the 50 thing.
This is litigation matter for some period.
Okay, I guess it is. Okay, every year we do conduct an annual audit, and that is done by Smith Marion. We have used them for a number of years, but we do have a new audit team every 5 years for consistency purposes in order to make sure there's new fresh eyes looking at it. As a result of that, once a year, they send us what's called an engagement letter, which outlines the work they intend to do and the cost associated with that. So this would be considering signing this letter would allow us to choose a date for our audit for the 24-25 audit, which would be auditing through June 30 of 2025. We've been very happy with their company, and we had a brand new team last year. So the prices are outlined, and I believe the total is
That's
$20,000.
$20. Or did it say the same?
I know it went just slightly, but
Yeah.
it was less than $100. The new amount is $20,650. That includes the audit, which is $18,230. The basic financial statements that they prepare for the audit is $1,800. Preparation and submission of the special district's financial transaction report to the state of California that is transmitted annually. They do prepare that. That's $1,236. Included in that is, and that's not part of this cost. Copland Gruber also prepared the CFP portion, which we merged before we sent it out to the state of California. And then so the total fee for Smith Marion would be $20,650 if you would like to consider that.
Which is the same as last year. Yes. Okay.
And this is second year.
We've had them for several years. This is, in fact, as long as I've been here.
Yeah, as long as,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under Gatsby, we have to change the lead auditor every 5 years.
oh, okay.
Last year was the first time. they-
First year with the new auditor.
Well, it's been changed before, it's just.
Just in my time, yeah.
Based on the last.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? No?
I move the board of directors authorize the general manager to sign the engagement letter with Smith Marion for the fiscal year 2024-2025 audit.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to item 5.2, resurfacing of Play Park basketball courts. Mr. DeWitt.
Thank you. Yes, as part of, this was an item identified as part of our deferred maintenance funds that we budgeted for this year. The Clay Park basketball court surfacing is non-existent at this point. It's worn out essentially. So this is, we received 3 bids to come in and grind the surface, prep it, and then reseal it. And the low bid was True Line Construction Surfacing right here out of Riverside for $12,940. Second bid, Epic Surfaces, was in Bell Park, and we don't know where Match Point came with their bid, why they were so high, but we did conduct 3 bids as required by our bid processes here, and we do have the funding available.
Any questions or comments?
just lifespan,
About 14 to 15 years usually. I think we're over 20 at this point, though.
no, it's a new product. but
Yeah.
What's the
It's-
guarantee?
And a lot of it has to do with just the wear and tear, how much use it actually gets. But it's designed for outdoor public basketball courts. It's good quality products.
So good, total probably 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, minimum 10 years, yeah.
That's my only question.
Has it been replaced since it was initially?
Not that I know of. I'm gonna guess it's over 20 years old. It's well used.
The cracks in that surface, I was trying to.
No, I left it, looked at it, it's basketball courts usually 4 to 6 inches thick with rebar, so they tend to last in that aspect.
So there's no repair work to the concrete, to the actual surface and correct.
I move the board of directors accept the bid from True Line Construction and Surfacing for the resurfacing of the Clay Park basketball court for $12,940.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 5-0. Moving on to item 5.3, CalPERS 457 plan. Mr. DeWitt.
Again, I'm gonna pass this one over to Ms. Bogus.
We are always looking for ways that we can add value and to the benefits that we offer our staff. And as a government agency, we have the ability of offering a 457 plan, which is much like very similar to like a 401k in the public or private sector. So this is something we have not offered in the past, and we have the ability of partnering with CalPERS. We already have a contract with to allow them to administer the program through Voya Financial. And this is a very good program, and the benefit to this allows employees to deduct funds from their paycheck, either pre-tax or post-tax, that is their option, to set aside for retirement. And it's a great way, especially for the young people just starting out, to start putting money aside, or for all different age groups, of course. We have not had the ability to offer this in the past, but now this has come across and we've investigated and been able to actually get a plan together that's very robust. The investment portfolio is handled by Voya again, which is a good firm. And what's nice is by taking it out of their paycheck, it just makes it easy. It's sent straight up, and that takes the human side out of, the employees has to send money all the time. The advantage to the 457 plan, unlike a 401k, is if they decide they want to buy a home later in life or do something, they can actually withdraw without the penalties like a 401k would have. So there's advantages to the 457 plan that the government employees can have. So we'd like to offer this as a service. The best part is it costs us absolutely nothing as an employer to offer that. It's completely free. All the fees that are associated with that are paid by the participant. And it's not mandatory, it's strictly volunteer, and they can increase the amounts as they choose. So it costs us nothing to offer this, and a lot of agencies do that, and we just have never done that in the past. And we thought it would be a good benefit to continue to grow our benefits to our staff.
So to maintain the deductions and all of that, you will not be involved? The parks will not be involved?
All they do is I'll build it into their profile on Paycom,
Right.
and then it automatically comes out, and it's with the funds I sent to CalPERS already.
Okay, and they will manage everything. They will
beside the distribution and
All of
the forms at the end of the year, they'll take care of that. We will pay nothing.
correct. We do all the reporting and all the tracking and all the investing.
Nice.
I've dealt with a plan like this in the past, and as the employee, you have a portal you can log into and you
Right.
can, just like any plan like that, they can choose which areas they want to have their money in high risk, high reward, or,
Right.
more stable stuff, and they can move their money around as they see fit.
Do we have any CalPERS or Voya agents coming to talk to the employees about?
We don't, I do have a representative I'm working with, and I could probably have someone scheduled to come in.
Okay.
I would like to start from this in July, but I can have them come to the then. We do have a benefits meeting in October. That's kind of 3 months later. I don't know if I want to, I can bring them in now. It'd probably be the better time than mixing with all the benefits, but I would like to have a professional come in and answer their questions.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think that's a good idea. At least yearly too, as things change.
Reevaluate. and
Yeah.
Garner more interest.
Right, any other questions or comments?
That would be the initial setup though, right?
During the initial set, we all know the paperwork that would be signed. And then, once it's in the system, it takes about 30 to 60 days to start the process before we start offering to our staff.
Mm.
And then we'd have them come in and do their presentation and bring the forms that are needed and make sure that in the future, if someone else wants to sign up or change their deductions, I would be able to assist them through here, or the forms are probably available in the portal nowadays. Make sure we have all our paperwork in line.
And there's no minimum amount of employees that need to sign up for this. So if only one signs up, we're still good.
Yes.
I imagine more will. I'm just
Mhm.
curious if they have a minimum.
Yes.
All right, any more questions or comments?
I move the Board of Directors to approve the adoption of resolution number 2025-08 to establish a 457 retirement plan through CalPERS and authorize staff to sign the necessary documents.
Second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. Sorry, it's a resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kim Jo Johnson,
Aye.
Edgar Castellano.
Yes.
Ross Leisha,
Yes,
Jose Luis Gutierrez.
Yes.
Tammy Rivas.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
All right, just one slight thing, on the link, it says CalPERS 157 plan. Yeah. Is that correct?
Is it on the word, number one by it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
and moving on to item 5.4, consideration of submitting an opposition letter to SB 315 Kennedy Act. Mr. DeWitt.
Yes, this is something I briefly touched on with you guys already and as a part of a legislative update. This is set to be heard by committee on the 23rd, I believe it is. In a nutshell, SB 315 is being presented as a way to reduce housing costs for new construction. The concern the district has is essentially the first two, or the concern staff has, we want the district to take a position on is the first two bullet points there in the staff report, limiting the land dedication to no more than 25% total infill of the total infill project. And the real concern is ultimately eliminating Quimby requirements if development is within half mile as the crow flies of an existing park. The two big things, there's no definition of an infill project. There's no definition of a park. I have a couple examples I wanted to show with some proposed, already approved development here in town. That just hasn't happened yet. This first one here, I know it's a little hard to see, I apologize. These are the phase 2 of the Rio Vista Apartments, which is over by the old post office in Rubida. This is the old Club Metro parking lot here off of Mission Boulevard. These are the existing apartments, so they're in this general area here. The red circle is a half mile radius. And that's placed generally in the middle of the development. So again, there's no definition of where you're measuring from either. If you zoom in, it just touches the corner of the parking lot of Memorial Park. Does that qualify? We don't know. It's also, I have up here in the corner, It is, I think it's 0.66 miles walking. And we all know walking down Rubidoux Boulevard, I'm sorry, that's Limelight Riverview right there, is not the safest area. You know, potentially this is children walking. The other question that we don't know that is not answered is, this is, I'm drawing a blank here.
Jensen Alvarado.
Jensen Alvarado Ranch, thank you, which is a county park. But it's a pay to play, you gotta pay $6 to enter it. And then looking it up, actually, it's not even open every day, it's by appointment only. So does that qualify as a park in which the developer could request the fee waiver? These are things that are unanswered. So this is one example of why, how it would impact the district.
My understanding too, if you go back up there, the bottom of the blue line leaving the center of the project there, just go below Tilton. There's a park there that is, I don't know if it's HOA park or whatever.
That's an HOA park. I think
But
that's
is that-
good question. I think that
They're not defining it. I mean, that's just like a block away.
it does say public park. So I think in that aspect, but you're correct. Those are great questions we need to. HOA park.
And also remember the Play Bob has put up a playground, piece of playground equipment,
I think it's out, I looked at it, I think it's outside the circle,
but still,
but it's close.
does that count?
Yeah, what counts?
That's the question.
Because
Is it a
they,
half-acre park? Is it a 5-acre park? Does it have to have certain amenities? Is it more than just grass? These are all questions that, you know, we're obviously opposing it from day one out the gate, but there's other things that if this is going to be forced, there needs to be clarification on. The next example I wanted to give is the RC Hobbs Apartments that are it's already approved. The project's approved. They're going through plan check. This is the empty dirt lot here next to the old Albertsons. Clay Park is within a half mile of the project. The reality is people aren't gonna safely be able to walk through a parking lot. So they're gonna have to go out to Limonite down to Clay through and down to the park. It's within the half mile. But it's 0.86 miles of walking. Again, then Limonite is a very heavily traveled street. Clay is a very heavily traveled street. The other consideration is we all know there's 2 other developments, one already under construction, the Rock Rose Bayberry Place, that does not have a public park, that we have a green belt as part of it. But also on the other side of Limonite, the other side of Clay, our last board meeting, we just approved the resolution of intention for the new condominiums that are coming. All this is adding a lot more stress on that park. And there's no potential relief in sight or additional land or improvements for these parks. And the third example I want to give you, if my mouse will be. This project is part of Rio Vista. This is the part of the project along Armstrong Road, literally at the city border. The green line there, I know it's faint, it's from Google Earth. That is the city boundary and county boundary between Hoopa Valley and Fontana. This is 62 or 64 homes, I believe, proposed. It's going through plan check now, but the development is already approved as part of that specific plan. We have the Armstrong property that we've never developed. Does that qualify as a park? Again, we don't know these answers. And interesting on this one, it's Ms. Johnson, you tell me what it is, 1.6 miles?
where does it say it?
At the upper left-hand corner?
1.65, yeah?
1.65 miles to safely walk to that park. You have to go all the way down Armstrong to Sierra, cross at the crosswalk and come all the way back up. There's no other safe point to access this property. The other unique thing that I think concerning thing you're all aware of is just north of the city boundary there in Fontana, they've approved nearly 2 million, I think it is, square feet of industrial warehouse becoming. So these are all 3 areas that could directly impact the district and bring us, these are how it could potentially impact us here at the district. So presented in front of you tonight is a request to submit an opposition letter, which is attached. It needs to be submitted by Monday, so it is received by the committee. With that, it'd be available for any questions you may have.
I have a comment if I could.
Yes.
At the end of the letter, you say, for these reasons, I must oppose SB 315. And it might be more powerful if you said, for these reasons, the Board of Directors has unanimously voted to oppose SB. And
Oh,
that-
there we.
Perfect.
Yeah. I move the Board of Directors authorize the submission letter in opposition of SB 315 with the proposed changes.
I'll
to the
second.
letter.
I'm sorry, just a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 5.5, consideration of proceeding to form a nonprofit organization to assist the district and deciding upon a name for the organization. Mr. DeWitt.
Thank you. And I'm gonna rely on Mr. Owen a lot for the questions you may have with this. He's been doing a lot of research for us. But essentially, as we've discussed, one of the goals of the district is to form a nonprofit to benefit the district, our programs, potential developments down the road. And essentially, Mr. Owens outlined here in the staff report here, the number of procedures, but the first and foremost we need to do is pick a name and reserve it. So that's kind of what we're asking for tonight from you. There's no format we have to follow. There's no specific guidelines, correct, Mr. Owens, other than we have to pick a name and
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if the word corporation or Inc. has to be in it. But other than that, no.
so does anybody have any brand ideas?
How about feather?
I
had a research for you today, what feather stood for.
this was a previous foundation for Miss Rivas. I was just looking at it.
I missed something.
Yeah.
I didn't write that.
So I went online and I looked up like words. So I was trying to look for an acronym. That's what I was looking for. And I looked up words that have J, A, and F in them. And there apparently is exactly one word in the English language that has that. It is flapjacks.
Is what?
Flapjacks.
Flapjacks?
Yes. So I didn't think that was a great acronym. And so I tried JA, it just doesn't work. Jazzy, there just aren't a lot of words that start with JA for Aruba area, something, something, something. And I would propose we just go simple and we call it the Aruba Area Parks Foundation. I don't think we should name it the exact same name as us with the word foundation. I think that gets confusing. If we want to call it JAPF amongst ourselves, we can, but we don't have to.
We also want to sound professional.
Right. I think Aruba Area Parks Foundation.
That's fine with me. Sounds good.
I like the abbreviation though, not the way our district says it, but just the abbreviation.
JPF.
Is that the way you said it?
Is it JAPF?
Careful.
So probably JAPF. I don't know, or we just call it the foundation.
Well, we can refer to it as an initialism instead of an acronym, so just say JAPF.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
We do.
Or it's a little shorter than JARPD.
Yeah.
Yeah, simple, direct.
Do we need to vote on that or?
Do we need an actual motion, Bob, or?
Yeah, I have a motion there that we wrote up and where it says TBD, just put in the name in the motion.
Okay, I move that the Board of Directors direct staff to proceed with the establishment of a new nonprofit corporation to assist the district in its functions and that its name be Aruba Area Parks Foundation, and that's Parks with an S.
second.
Perfect.
Second.
We need a roll call.
We need a
There's no
vote.
resolution on it.
Wasn't sure. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 5-0. And not to put the cart before the horse, but we'll be able to sit on that board as well.
That will be part of what the next procedures, correct, Mr. Owen, but then
Yes.
we'll bring our articles of incorporation forward and bylaws.
Yes, based on our prior discussions, my intention is to make the 5 members of the board, the 5 members of the foundation. Nothing more, nothing less. The downside of having more than one is that you have to then comply with all the laws you already comply with. The Brown Act, the Public Records Act, and the conflict of interest rules. But you're already doing all of those, so. But most nonprofits do not have to follow those rules. They can meet secretly and,
As we know.
yeah.
I'm already working on the back in the accounting side, how to account for it, what bank accounts need to be set up, how that's gonna be structured, so that'll be presented.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, moving on to item 6.1, general manager's report. Mr. DeWitt.
Thank you. Yes, I have some information I want to share, but first, foremost, Saturday is our spring extravaganza here at Aggie Park. 10 a.m.
10 to 2.
Yeah, 10 to 2. So we hope to see you all here. I should double check that one. We're expecting a huge turnout as always. It looks like the weather's going to be absolutely beautiful. It's going to cool down for Saturday. This 90-degree weather's killing all of us, I think. So we're excited for that. Other than that, staff's extremely busy right now. We have a lot of good things coming up. Next Tuesday is the health fair at the Eddie D. Smith Senior Center. If you're available, please swing by. It's always a great turnout as well. One update that I wanted to give you, as you recall, we've contracted with California Consulting for our grant writing services. And we jumped right in with our grant for 37th Street Park, and I gave you a brief update on that a couple weeks ago. But we had our first initial monthly Zoom call to go over our projects, and it was very well organized. I was very impressed. We've already submitted the Outdoor Recreation Legacy program, the grant that we submitted for 37th Street Park. And I told you we'll know by June if we've been submitted on to the national level. But they're recommending we also apply for the Land Water Conservation Fund grant for 37th Street Park. It's a very similar application. It's not quite copy and paste, but very close. And so I told them to go ahead and do that. That's due August 5th. If for some chance we were awarded the ORLP, as it referred to, we would just withdraw our application from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. It just makes, again, we think we have a high probability of and that grant as well. So it was a no-brainer. I authorized them to go ahead and start that. What I'm gonna need from the board is I'll have to bring it back because it's not agendized, but if we want to consider applying for the 58th Street project for the Land Water Conservation Fund as well. It is a 50% match grant. It appears it's a very high, could be a very highly rating project, but if that's something, I'll have to bring that back. So we need a minimum of conceptual drawing and 5 public meetings to go with that one. And that's due by August 5th. So I'll bring that back for consideration in the future. The other one coming up, there is I forget the name of the grant. I didn't put it on my notes here, but it has to do with urban greening and reducing CO2 emissions. It's a tree planting grant. So we're I've got Kurt looking at some opportunities. It doesn't have to be at one specific site within the district. We could pick every single park in the district, frankly, and plant trees at it if we wanted to. And there's no match on this grant whatsoever. So again, I think this one's a no-brainer if we could get some funding for trees within the district here, obviously within our plant palette. So we're gonna be looking at that one, and it's not due until later this year. This is a very unique one that we're looking in. It's through the California Natural Resources Agency. It's a Youth Community Access Grant Program. This is designed to get youth into nature. There's some stuff we're looking at. This is one that they highlighted with us starting our nonprofit could be very advantageous for us. This one tends to be very favorable when you have a public agency and a nonprofit working together. the fact that we were one and the same essentially didn't make a difference in the grant writer's opinion. So we're gonna be looking at that and how to get youth into cultural and arts programs, which could be something that could benefit us greatly in the future. Potentially taking every elementary school student to a field trip or something. It would fund the transportation and admission. So we're looking at that opportunity as well. There's a Routes to Parks grant right now, which is essentially providing access to state parks, which will pay for transportation to state parks or beaches. This is one we talked about potentially applying for the seniors. It would pay for busing. Debbie's gonna talk to the seniors if it's something they'd be interested in. They just tend to have a lot of walking associated with them with the state parks being so large, so she didn't know what the response would be. But it's something that we're looking at. And then the next one, which is not due until 2026, is the Recreation Trails Program, RTP. That's obviously with us finishing up our Parks Master Plan with the city, would be something we would potentially be looking at a joint application on. The reality of us putting a trail within our park is not gonna score high at all. But if we are connecting, say, two parks through the city, through street, along roadsides or whatever, and it's a joint application, those could be something that score well, or we're providing transportation or a route from one area to another, improving safety, things along those lines. They haven't released the exact dates yet, but they're typically due February-ish of the first of the year. So these are things that we're all looking on. She was extremely excited that we were forming the nonprofit. Thought that'd be very advantageous for us moving forward. And we talked a lot about some of the smaller grant opportunities out there. These are, larger dollar amounts, but the $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 grants. Sammy is her name, is our consultant. And she was extremely excited about the opportunities we could have primarily in the STEM or STEAM area, science, technology, education, arts, math, stuff for childhood obesity. Seniors, cultural art activities, helping to pay for transportation to museums and different things. She thought that those were all great opportunities, based on our dynamics and our, economic, disadvantaged parts of the community. So she's gonna be looking at some of those as well, and, myself as well. We're gonna have some emails going back and forth that she's looking at already. So that's, the big information I want to share with you today. Other than that, I'd be available for any questions you may have.
So, the initial, one that we're going for the 37th Street Park, does that have a 50% match?
It does. Yes, we had approved that previously. So.
Any other-
I'm sorry. You were mentioning that we're gonna do a joint
We would be considering a joint application with the
with the
city.
city. How does that work? Do they have their own account, or are they going under us, or?
Those would all be part of our discussions, but in general, that was one of the goals with the Trails Master Plan. It would be a joint application, one of the two. The reality is it would probably be the city as the lead applicant with us supporting it. Because most likely it's gonna be within road right of way, which will fall under the city's privy.
Okay.
But it will be the data supporting it from the Trails Master Plan. So where it would be, what it would be, no idea yet. But it's just something, so we've got basically almost a year to figure it out, but it's just that's one of the purposes of this Trails Plan.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. DeGuid? No? All right, moving on to board comments. Mr. Consulan.
No comment.
All right, Mr. Leahy.
I'm looking forward to the spring fling coming up Saturday, and I'm excited about the grant opportunities.
Ms. Johnson.
I also am looking forward to the spring fling. It's always fun to see the kids hunting eggs and doing all those things. And yes, the grant opportunities. I'm really glad and excited for those opportunities coming up.
Ms. Rivas.
I'm looking forward to that spring extravaganza. It'll be my first one with the Easter Bunny. So yeah, definitely.
I'm also looking forward to.
You had-
Sorry, you had a chance.
Yep.
And yeah, just to reiterate, as always, I too am excited for Saturday for spring fling and these grants, finally be able to tap into them. And just, keep trending upward, and of course, staff as the lifeblood of our district, always thankful to them as well. Yeah. So moving on to committee reports.
Excuse me, I have one more question. Is our mascot gonna be there?
Yes, we're gonna have Sunny and the bunny.
Okay, cool.
Have you seen the little videos I put out on
Have
dance offs and
Oh, that'd be nice.
Sunny and the Bunny.
Hoppy.
Mm.
Hobbies? Sunny and Hoppy.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
No, you're okay. All right, item 6.3, committee reports, budget and personnel met on April 2nd. Anything to report?
No, I mean, we discussed the 457 plan that we
Yeah.
talked about tonight. And then just went over the upcoming budget.
Just went over all the CFD numbers and everything looks really good and
Moving along nicely.
Nothing.
nothing out of the ordinary to.
Just question, it says that I'm president. President that name? On top.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're there in spirit, huh? Yeah. We will adjust that. Thank you.
We were thinking of you the whole time we were.
I spent an hour on the phone with them the other night fixing our agenda. I'll find out, make sure this was fixed, and this was part of that. That should have been adjusted.
Any future committee meetings?
None right now, Mr. President?
Any agenda items for future board meetings? Nope, all right. And upcoming meetings, April 24th and May 8th. And with that, I will adjourn the regular meeting at 7:05.
Oh, we're gonna take longer on the meeting.
I thought and thought on it when I.
You're just
I
melting.
just couldn't come up with anything that